let's have a closer look at the boat we bought. It's a Mikado 55, built in 1979, but launched in 1980. And she's about 55 foot long. I'm not quite sure because actually there are several dimensions listed on the various bits of paperwork we have. I'll get a tape measure out at some point and see what the total length really is. So let's have a quick walk around. Of course I have to walk around this mast that is inconveniently in the way, but I guess that's yards for you. You can see that she has a very classic semi-displacement shape. Forward there is a bow thruster. The waterline is covered in weed, but the rest is not too bad. The boat hasn't been out of the water for 3 years, so that's okay. Some through hulls. Only one of the 3 hulls is actually blocked. That's a mysterious piece of paper, and I don't really want to think too much about what might be behind that. Here are some more through hulls. These ones are the Galley through hulls. And right down under here, that'll be the cockpit drain and the cooling water intake for the engine, plus a big old anode, which is the earth or the ground for the boat. The boat's got a max prop feathering propeller, which is in good condition. None of the blades move vertically, and they all move very smoothly, no nasty noises or anything like that. The rudder is on a skeg, which is nice. Well protected. Does protrude a little bit, but that's acceptable. Let's see if she moves vertically at all. No, absolutely solid. The boat does come with a tender, this little inflatable, which is in scruffy condition, but it's stayed inflated for the last few months, which is good news. Okay, it's time to get the ladder out and climb aboard. Looking over the stern, there's a little swim platform, a rather ropey hatch, but it's not going to stop us going sailing. Ancient fenders, some 2-speed Lumar winches, but not self-tailing, which is a pity. Here's the cockpit. It's deep, nicely protected in the center of the boat. Overall, the boat looks very scruffy, and not just a bit dirty, but really quite dirty. That's partly because where the boat is, they're going through one of their regular periods of drought. It hasn't rained in any significant way for about 3 years. So almost no washing of boats is allowed. Let's go right to the bow. There are a couple of rather small CQR plough type anchors. At 20 kilos they are undersized for a boat this heavy. 40 kilos would be better. This is a Lofren's Falcon winch. It's sitting on a very rusty base. Nice big cleats on the foredeck. I'll just put my foot here for comparison. Here is a big life raft. Personally, I think this is a very bad place to have a life raft, so we'll be moving it astern to where it will be easy to get to if we need it. The staysail is on a boom, which is interesting. I've never sailed with a boomed foresail. It's got a self-tacking track here. So right forwards on the bowsprit is the forestay. There's a roller reef jib, or it might even be a genoa depending on the size and the cut. And forwards on the hull itself is an attachment point for another forestay. I've seen some pictures of the early boats and many of them did not have a bowsprit, so this was where the forestay would have been attached. We have a bit of rough teak decking here on the cabin top. Some parts are obviously coming away, damaged, so it may need to be removed. The mast has had an aftermarket in-mast reefing system added to it. It doesn't look too bad, but these systems have a poor reputation for reliability, and we might be looking at changing that or removing it entirely and going back to a classic slab reefing system. Moving further back, here are a couple of little solar panels. They are apparently topping up the starter motor battery if the shore power fails. Here's a nice big wheel. Morse engine controls. I like the size of the steering compass, but behind the steering compass is the rudder position indicator, which is very poor planning, as you absolutely cannot see it when you're standing at the helm. And then there's a whole load of instruments here, most of which are unnecessary these days as the information is displayed on a plotter screen. Then there's a very ancient Garmin plotter. I'm sure this was the hottest thing you could buy in 1980, but not anymore. Then once we're down the companionway steps, on the left you see the main electrical panel, most of which works apparently, so I'm pretty pleased with that. That's the entrance to the main cabin, and here's the back of the electrical box. The usual multicoloured spaghetti. I've seen worse, but I'm not going to think about that until much later. The main passageway leading forwards, a chart table and some instruments to starboard, an ancient radar, VHF and other rather dated instruments. So as we stepped aft on the starboard side, we move into the galley. There is storage on both sides and above the work surface. The cooker is gas, 4 rings, but with very small burners, and there is an oven as well. On the inboard side, a microwave running off the inverter, coffee machine, toaster. The previous owner has actually left a lot of things on the boat. So we step even further aft into the saloon. There's a 24-volt fridge freezer. The aft cabin saloon is very nice, very spacious. This large structure in the saloon is the compression post for the mizzen mast. Both masts are deck stepped. And here is the cupboard complete with some glasses. And something to go in the glasses too. On the port side of the saloon, these are the steps which go up to the after part of the cockpit. And here is another small cabin, which is currently a workshop. We'll be making good use of this space. Just having somewhere to store tools will be very nice. Here's a generator. It's a very small master volt. I believe it's a single cylinder. I don't think I would ever have bought one, but as it's here, we'll be using it. So back to the nav station, and right across on the port side is the main cabin. A double bunk. A wet head attached. It's got a manual head in it, but we'll be looking to change that into an electric one at some point. So moving forward from the main cabin, on the starboard side is another wet head, same kind of manual toilet. And a shower that is part of the tap arrangement. So going forwards again on the port side, the second cabin also has a double bunk in it. The cabin is just a bit smaller. And then on the starboard side is a small cupboard. As we go forward again, we come to the V berth. It's currently arranged for 2 single berths plus storage. We could possibly transform that into 3 singles, but I think the need for storage might win the argument. So now we come to the engine room. And this is really a very nice space. And that is a very famous engine. Not this particular engine, but the type. A Perkins 6.354. 6-cylinder, almost 6 litres. They have a reputation for being very robust. I've already commissioned an oil sample analysis, and it's in good condition for its age, which is all we can expect of it. It all works, although I think those engine mounts are probably at the end of their service life. And forwards is the hot water system and some other things which I don't yet fully understand. But I'm very happy that there is plenty of room around the engine so that it will be relatively easy to work on.